Welcome to the best tyre video ever. So we're making an in-depth video on scooter tyres from the beginning to the end, everything you need to know. This is the place to find out about it. And I'm going to show you everything, all the tips, all the experience I know.
Sheen challenges again. They go up to 150 miles an hour here as they go down through the gears to Cops.
So first of all, you'll see around here is the tyre size. Good. So it's 190/10. The 100 is the width of the tyre. The 90 is the wall of the tyre, and 10 is the diameter of the rim. So this one is also marked up as MC56J. J means it's only rated up to 62 miles per hour. So as you can see, I've highlighted all this, that you have got your max load 224 kilograms and your max PSI 36 PSI, and luggage and passengers, it shouldn't go past 224 kilograms. That's the maximum this tyre is rated up to, 36 PSI. If you pour more than that in it, the walls of the tyre, the fabrication of it can't handle the pressure. So 36 is the maximum. We'll go into tyre pressures, or what tyre pressures we're going to use further on in the video. This tyre is also tubeless. So that means it can go onto alloy rims with no inner tube. Obviously you can also put it on split rims with a tubing, no problem at all. Now this other little feature over here, 3106, that's the date of manufacturing. This was the 31st week of 2006, so this is quite an old tyre that I'm using for display purposes. Okay, what we're looking at now is, on this side we've got the 190/10, and on this side we've got the 350/10. Now you'll notice that the 350 has got a little bit more diameter in it, a bit more circumference, so that's going to give you a higher speed. So by going for the 190/10 you will down gear slightly, very slightly. I'll take some measurements so you can actually get some figures, and I'll post them down below. But the 190/10 is got a wider profile and the 350 is narrower. So most people are racing on 350/10s, as most of the race tyres are available in that size, and they do turn in quicker on a 350/10 than it will do with a 190. Obviously wider tyres turn in slower, narrower tyres will turn in quicker. Okay, and now flipping it over to the other side, we can see this tyre has an arrow on it. This is the tyre fitting direction. This one only has one arrow, so that means it has to be that direction on front and rear. Other tyres will have two arrows, one facing one direction for the front tyre and the other direction for the rear tyre. So it's got different directions for front or rear. Some tyres, mainly the block pattern tyres, have no direction and they can be fitted either direction, it doesn't really matter. But tyres that have got a pattern that are directional will have an arrow on the tyre to direct you which way it's fitted. That is your rotational arrow.
Okay, in this next part of the video we're going to be deciding what tyres you're going to use on your bike or scooter, as it may be. That all depends on whether you live in a hot climate or a cold climate or a wet climate, or live in somewhere that's got ice and snow. We don't know, but what we're going to do is going to find you a solution. So this is where we go into the tyre choosing part of the video.
Of the top riders today, Hartog, Sheen and Roberts for mastery and the 15 points in the World Championship.
Okay, as the first tyre, our winter tyres is the Michelin City Grip 2. Absolute belter. This is a really good tyre, all-rounder. It's got great grip in the winter and it's got a high silica content. Moving on, we've got another winter tyre, the Hyundai K66. This has got a special grip pattern that's got like V shapes in it that grips really well in the winter and snow. It's an excellent winter tyre. Now we've got this strange one, the Anlas Winter Grip 2. This is from Russia, and we know what the winters are like there. This must be super brilliant in snow. That's what I reckon it is, snow tyres. Pirelli Angel. This baby is brilliant in all weathers. It's got such good grip in the rain. I would recommend this for anybody, and I'm thinking of getting this for myself for my own scooter if I can find it in the right sizes. Okay, so on to the more sportier tyres in the range. These are more for a tuned lambretta that's going to be riding a little bit harder than most. First of all, we've got the dry light showers tyre, the BGM 59S. This tyre is actually rated as an S, so that's up to 120 miles per hour, which is really exceptional, and it is a quite sticky little tyre. Then we've got the Hyundai K80SR, which is also a semi-slick, almost a race tyre, and it can be used on very sporty lambrettas. It has got a high silica content like most of the tyres in this range, and they're very good for sporty scooters. Next we've got the Bridgestone Battle Axe. Yes, the famous Battle Axe. We've been using it for years. We actually used this on the racetrack. It's one of the earlier tyres that we got that was actually suitable for the track. I've used IRC as well, they were brilliant. Used to get them from Midland Scooter Centre. Right, and now we're getting to a Mitas Touring Force SC scooter tyre. This one is quite sporty. It seems to grip really well, but also in wet weather. It's uncanny. I really rate this Mitas tyre. Very good indeed, an all-round tyre. So, moving on from here, we're going to race tyres. Yes, it's what you've all been waiting for. Sports Max Super Race, very sticky tyres. And the one we've got here is Mitas Race MC35. Now they come in 3 different tyre ratings. We've got hard, medium and soft. I might actually do a super soft, or I'm not sure about that one. I've never used that, but these tyres are extremely sticky, extremely good on a racetrack. They don't last too long. I wouldn't use them on a road bike, but these semi-slicks are probably one of the best race tyres on the moment. Okay, this tyre is mainly used on small frames because it comes in really odd sizes. I think it's specifically made for small frame scooters. PMT. Very good, and they come as slicks. Now they use them in the continent like Spain, Italy mostly. I don't think they're legal to use on the track in the UK because they don't. Well, we haven't got every single tyre that's made, but I have got quite a little selection that we can go through. I've got a selection here by SIP. Now I quite like the SIP tyres because they are rated at P. They've got a P rating, which is quite high. There's not many tyres that are rated S, although the BGM have an S rated tyre. That's up to I think 120 miles an hour. So that's pretty good. I'll have to check. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll put a list down the bottom of what the ratings are and speed are on just in our range, like, you know, J, S, P or whatever. You'll find it down here. Bing, in this corner. Okay, this is one of the SIP Performer tyres. It's a 350 by 10. It's got SIP Performer on it.
it doesn't have any other sort of info. It's a P range tyre, 59, and was it tyre direction on it? Yes, it has tyre direction, just a single one, so it's not front and rear directional. You can fit it either direction, which is good if you're running it as a spare, because you can put it front or back. Unfortunately, if you've got dual direction tyre, you'll only be able to fit it on one side, on the front or on the back, depending which way you fit the tyre. So that's quite a disadvantage with dual directional tyres. So you really want to look for a single directional, or your block pattern, which has got no direction on it. So this won't have any direction. You can fit this inside out, upside down, whichever way you like. Right, what we've got here, we've got a Mitas sports tyre, MC35S Racing Mitas. This one is a soft compound, which I used on the front. So we've used soft on the front and on the back, and it was okay, but we did go to medium compound on the rear tyre after a while, so we could run a little bit less pressure in it and have a bigger footprint. And it tend to work out a little bit better for us than having the softer tyre with a bit more pressure. It's when you're on the track, you can sort of play around with pressures, tyre pressures. If you lower your tyre pressure, you're going to create a little bit more footprint, but the tyres will heat up a lot more, right? So lower tyre pressure ends up with more heat. You can put more tyre pressure in, that'll keep the tyre a bit cooler, but you won't get the same footprint. So it's a matter of going out and testing and see what you prefer, what sort of suits you on that track day. I found when you got really hot days and a really hot track, it was much better to work with a little bit, tiny bit less pressure, because the hot track would heat up the tyres more, and then you'd be up to a higher pressure halfway through the race. So you'd be back to the tyre pressure that you really wanted to be at. So if you went out with too high a pressure, the tyres would heat up too much, they'd get really super hard, and then they'd break away on you. Because your footprint gets too small, the tyres start to break away. They start to bubble up on the edges here, right? If it's a good notification, if you look at the tyre tread, if you have a look at that, you see it's just started on the sides to get that sort of orange peel effect. Now that's just right. That's just how you want it. If you're getting big lumps coming off, right, your tyre pressure's too high and your tyres are getting too hot. Okay, so it all depends what weather you're racing in and what the tarmac temperature is. So getting your tyre pressure correct throughout the race is really important on how your tyres grip and how they wear. Too hard a pressure, and they're going to create even more pressure as they get hotter, and therefore you'll start to break lumps out your tyre because the tyre's getting too hot and it starts to break up. You can run with a lower pressure, which in fact should heat them up quicker at the start, but then once they've heated up, they can come towards the pressure that you want, because they'll go up by 3 or 4 psi. So if you start off 3 or 4 psi under the pressure that you want to be at, you will end up at the correct pressure during the race. And then your tyres will maintain grip and they won't start to melt. I think that was quite good. Right, so that's a little few tips there on racing and race tyres and tyre pressures. Depending on road surface temperatures is what pressures you can choose. So you need to go out there, race for a bit, come back and put a temperature sensor on your tyres to see what they're like, see what temperature it's at. You can check the tarmac temperature, see what temperature's that at, and you'll only get that through experience of going out and seeing how your tyres react under different road surfaces, because some are smoother than others, and the more abrasive the surface, the hotter the tyre's going to get. It is really an experience just working with your tyres and going out and trying to get that perfect pressure for each track and conditions. So you need to, what I've always said before, always write down your pressures and temperatures at the track, and you can go back then and reference and say, right, we need this tyre pressure today because the track temperature is this pressure, this temperature, and the road surface is this surface. And that's going to give you a great idea, a good reference to go back on and say, this temperature of the day, that tarmac temperature gives us this tyre pressure. Okay, so let's get a little bit more info on the tyre pressures. So if you go onto certain forums, they seem to vary on what they recommend for lambretta. So I've been onto some forums and they recommend 18 psi in the front and 28 in the back, which I would say is pretty much where you want to be on an average size rider. Like, I might be a bit under average, but around the 11-12 stone mark. But if you're riding 2 up, I would say you need to be higher than that. Now, Lambretta Forum, Lambretta Club of Great Britain Forum, they recommend 22, 24 in the front and 32 in the back. Now, I'd have thought that would have been more like 2 up riding. So unless they're recommending for much heavier riders. So you can go 3 to 4 psi above and below the recommended tyre pressures, right? Depending on what you want to do with the bike and how you want it to perform. So if you're a lightweight rider like me and you're going for a sporty ride, you can drop the pressures down by 3 psi, yeah? And then once you've been out riding, the pressures will come up to the pressure that you want. So if you want to be running at 18 psi, yeah, you need to drop 3 psi off that before you go out, 28 on the back, 3 psi off that, and then once you've been out for about 20-25 minutes, if you recheck the tyre pressure, they will have gone up to the 18 and the 28 on the back. Then you're at the correct pressure. You have to monitor tyre pressures if you want to be safe on the road and get the maximum traction out of the tyres that you've got. Now, if you're doing average sort of riding around town, round and about, just stick to the Lambretta Club tyre pressures, the official tyre pressures, 18, 28 on the back. Or if you're a bit heavier rider, I would recommend 22 on the front and 32 on the back. If you're carrying a lot of luggage and 2 up, you want to increase tyre pressures to carry on with the load, because otherwise it's the extra weight just squashes the tyre and you end up overheating your tyre, and then you can get a blowout. So while we're talking about various tyres and the SIP one, I asked for some technical information, and what I was really looking for was the amount of silica that's in the rubber compound that they're using, because silica is really important. Now, having a high concentration of silica helps maintain the tyres' softness and suppleness. So if temperatures drop, say you're riding in the rain, your tyres don't harden up like they would with just normal rubber. With a high silica compound, they remain supple, so you keep grip in cold weather and wet roads. So I would have liked to have had some information on that from SIP, so I could advise you that what they have and what they do better, you know. Other than that, you're gonna have to go out and test drive every tyre. It's so much easier if I get information from manufacturers and they can say, our tyres have got this, that, and they do this. But instead of telling me, oh, they're wonderful, they're great, and they're fantastic, and they're the best tyre for all-round use, and blah, blah, blah. That's just advertising spiel. Right, it's really nice of SIP to have put this little yellow dot on the tyre to show us where the lightest part of the tyre is. So then, if you want to balance your wheel, that gives you a guide on where to put your valve. But if you don't have the yellow dot on your tyre, before you want to try and balance, really you need to find out which part of your tyre is heavier in the first place to give you a fighting chance. So the best thing to do is to weigh them. I've set us up some digital scales. So I've got a digital scale on this side and I've got just a plastic box on this side to level the tyre out. Now I've got a big blob of yellow paint on me scales there, which because I use it for weighing paint really and stuff, and rollers on autos. But anyway, that I'm going to line the tyre up with that yellow dot each time, so I get it more or less in the same position, and we'll see if, true to form, the yellow dot coincides to where the valve should go, as in it's the lightest. So first of all, we'll weigh it with the yellow dot on this end lined up with the yellow paint dot. Now 1.410, so 1410. Let's turn it round and put it the other way with it lined up the same. Now we got 1435. This side's heavier. So that's exactly right. It's exactly what we wanted to find out, is that where the yellow dot is the lightest. Now if you haven't got a yellow dot on the tyre, you're going to have to move it around and weigh it in different positions until you find the lightest spot. So you just weigh it, put a little mark, weigh it, put a little mark, until you find the lightest position. So it was made easier for us because SIP have put a yellow dot exactly where we want to put our valve. Now you can go onto eBay and you can buy yourself a gravity wheel balancer, which is just basically a stand with some bearings on there. You put your wheel on and you can slowly spin it, see where it stops, keep marking it up and find out where the heaviest bit is, and then put a weight on the opposite side to rebalance it. But we haven't got any of them. We could go out and buy some, but what we're going to have to do is improvise. I wasn't recording. Right, so what I've done is we've got a wheel in my vise, clamped down on the two nuts on the spindle so as not to damage the threads. So it's now free flowing. What we've done is we've leveled it up with a buzz wangle so it's absolutely true. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have to spin it to determine where our heaviest spot is. So we might have to spin 30 times or 40 times, I'm not sure, but until we start to get repetitive marks in one place, then we know that's the heaviest bit. If they're random all over the place all the time, the wheel's pretty much balanced anyway. But let's have a go. So we're going to spin it. Try to spin at the same sort of effort each time. Right, so we're right down here. You can see I've already spun it once. There's already one mark there and it's come out about 10 mil away from it. So I might have spun that a bit light, but okay, right, we've done quite a few spins, and as we can see, around this side of the wheel is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All between there's 9 ticks. The rest of the wheel there's practically nothing. So in between that point and that point, which I've got 3 there right in the middle, I am now going to mark that up as my heaviest part of the wheel. So you can buy some lead stick-on weights and stick them on the wheel and then retest, or you can just get a little bit of chemical metal or whatever, a little blob, stick it on, and that'll make the difference in the weight as well. But as we can see, our valve's here. The valve's right there. Right where, this has got an inner tube in it by the way, but the valve's right there. So that's a dead giveaway that this is the heaviest side straight away before we even started. We didn't even check it, didn't even look where the valve was. Yeah, valve was lined up more or less with the heaviest side. So what we need to do is put a little bit of weight on the other side, and that will then balance out our wheel. We'll have to retest afterwards, but that's how it's done. Okay, so what I've got is a bit of chemical stick. Yeah, we've took a chunk off. We'll just weigh it, and it's 2 grams. So what we do is mix it all up. It gets quite sticky and it sticks on there nice and not really well. They don't fall off. They're really good, but you can go up in small increments. If you weigh out, you're going to have to use lead. But we'll just put on this little blob opposite to where we think we are. So that's our point. So we're going to have to clean up here a little bit. Give it a good old clean. Obviously, the further out your weight's put, the more difference it's going to make. So we'll just make that into a neat little shape like that. Okay. And we'll just stick it on our rim. That's our balance weight put on. Then we can start spinning again, take some readings and see what difference it's made. It is a long process, but it helps with high speed stability. So there, try and ignore the others now and see if we start to get some random stops. If not, and it keeps on stopping in the same place, we've got to keep on increasing weight. Yeah, it's a bit more random now. Amazing the difference that's made. I'm thinking it needs more weight. Yep. Yeah. Okay, this one's going to need some lead on it. So we're going to have to go and buy some lead strip. Adhesive strips for motorbike tyres. You can get them online on eBay quite cheap, and then we can add some of them on until we get it to spin and total random everywhere. If you really want to get good at this, okay, so that's more or less the process you go through to balance your tyres. You can either buy the proper equipment, or you can just do a quick easy setup like I've done. It's much easier on bigger wheels. The bigger diameter you've got, the more it will show the weight differential. But even as we are, you can spin it, just keep spinning, keep spinning, keep spinning, and it will eventually find out where the heaviest spot is. And we found it on this one because we had a lot of strikes over this side of the tyre, which is right opposite where the valve is. So you go through that process over and over, adding weight on it until you get it to spin randomly everywhere, and then it's balanced. Okay, last but not least is to have your tyre fitted on the rims correctly. So it's on the rims absolutely 100% correct, because if it's twisted or it's out of proportion, the tyre will go like this. Now the other thing, metal rims distort, and when you fit them on, your tyre can still wobble because it's not true. So if that happens, you want to shim it. So spin your wheel, check it, you can put a dial gauge on it and see where it wobbles, and then take the wheel off, put a thin shim behind, retighten it back up and see if you get it correct. So if you see it wobbling that way on that stud, on the other stud, the opposite stud, put a small shim to try and level it back up. Very thin shim in behind. And that can do it. The other way to do it is to take your stud out and slightly file the hub face. And that will true it up. Remember to mark up exactly where you are. But these little fine adjustments can make a difference on your bike. Obviously, make sure all your nuts are torqued down properly when you do it, because it has to be to the same torque spec as what it is when it's done. Just nip them up and say that's it, because it can be out. Make sure you torque down every time to the correct torque settings. That'll be available online. So, hope you enjoyed my little lecture. We'll go into a bit more of it another time, but that's for me on tyres.
When I wake up to your smile, fields of clouds have rolled away. Knowing you were on my mind leads me to a brighter